Welcome, everybody, to the weekly WP Roundup with BJ Keaton. That is me. And every week we go live at 3 p.m. Eastern so that we can talk about the best news and tutorials and resources that were published this week about WordPress. The conversation tends to be very lively, so feel free to throw any kind of comments or questions that you have in the live chat. And all of the links that we're going to be talking about are in the description of this video. There was a little bit of an issue if you're watching on Facebook for all of the links to show up. But if you don't see those, check our YouTube channel for those, or I'll try to get them up on Facebook after this if they all didn't show up. So thank you for bearing with us, and thank you for showing up. Like, it's fantastic to see everybody here today. I'm seeing a lot of comments already from excuse me, from the UK, from Chile, India, and Los Angeles. Excuse me. That it is just wonderful to see all of y'all. Video hadn't been here in a while. Cool graphics. That is all due to our video guy, Matt. He is awesome. Hopefully we're going to see a lot more stuff like that in the coming weeks with all of them. I cannot wait to see what he gets for the rest of the shows. But they're really, really cool. I've never had my own theme music before, so it's really, really neat. From Colombia and Denmark and and the UK again, I hope everybody's being safe. Thank you for taking the time out of your day for showing up for us to learn about Divi and WordPress, and really just making sure that that really everybody is all right. I'm glad to see that people are showing up and still doing well. My area is better off than a lot of them. I hope yours is as well. But just take care of yourselves. Stay inside as much as you can, y'all. This is a crazy time. So, and there's really not any better way to spend it than live chatting with other people and live streaming. So it keeps everybody sane, I think. let me move on into the news, which they're actually, there's a lot more going on in the news than big WordPress things. Generally, it's conferences being canceled, that kind of stuff these days. But there was a link at WP Shout that I saw. That where you can still apply to speak at WordCamp US 2020. Now, the reason that I bring this up is because who knows what kind of conferences are going to happen this year. I mean, we're still early in this whole we can't gather in large groups thing. Here in Alabama, they had actually, it had been 25 people until today, so we can't gather more than 10 now because of what the governor said. So conferences and meetups and stuff aren't really possible. But WordCamp US 2020 this year is still looking for speakers. One way or the other, it looks like it might be an online conference if things aren't taken care of by then. But the way that it looks, it's a really good idea that if you want to submit to talk, then this is a good time to do it, because I mean, you might be able to actually not have to travel for it, so it would be a great idea to take advantage of this. While if you weren't going to be able to go to WordCamp US, if they do end up doing a virtual one, it might be a good way to get a WordCamp talk in your way. I see MB says in Denmark they're locked down and been that way for about 14 days. I'm one of the people who wishes that we were. For the most part, I have been going to the grocery store once or twice a week to grab stuff to stock up. But it's been different for everybody and everywhere. I'm hoping that you're safe, locked in. I have friends. I have a friend in Spain who has told me how crazy it is in Madrid being locked down like that. So I'm hoping everybody is safe. I see Oshi Khan says Divi needs the option where transparent menu background has a background color when scrolling with fixed navigation activated. Oshi, that might actually be possible using one of the tutorials that came out last week. If you go back onto the blog, I'll see if I can find a link. Actually, I know I have it in last week's links down here. It's a really, really cool tutorial. How to swap your Divi header with another one on scroll. That this might be able to accomplish the same thing that you're mentioning. I don't know exactly if you're going to be able to get it to do right, but there might be something in that tutorial that'll show you how to work around that for the moment. I see that's a 21-day lockdown in India. I saw how intense India was doing, and I am very impressed by it, and I was wondering how the logistics behind that would work on keeping everyone in. That's crazy. You have as much good vibes and support as I can send out that way. Let's see. Sufyan Ahmed asks, are there any new features of upcoming features of Divi? And there are, but I don't know what they are. It is the ones that I know about. The main one I know about is the WooCommerce modules, and it will be coming out at some point. I'm not 100% sure when, because I have not seen any kind of timeline on anything lately. I'll try to ask on our Monday meeting to see if we know anything about upcoming features, so that I can say something next week. But right now, I don't know what. I don't know what is coming up. MSV asks how to achieve floating effects. What do you mean by floating effects? Maybe you could maybe let me know what you mean by that one, because there's probably tutorials for that. And video says for improving abilities of Divi with YouTube, using YouTube as a background video, lazy loading a YouTube video until click to play. The one thing I know will not happen is I was told specifically that YouTube as a background video isn't going to be built into Divi. I'm not sure about lazy loading, how that would be. That's a good idea. Where it wouldn't even load in until it was click to play. Like, that's a great idea, but I know for a fact that I was very explicitly told that we're not going to be doing background videos with Divi. And yeah, I mean, video is one of those things where video and embeds and things like that can be trickier to work with. I don't do them enough, so I don't know the pain that you do. But it's one of those that that is definitely a pain point. And let's see, CSS float. Let me see if there's what I can see about that one, because it seems very familiar. Let's see. The only thing that I know, because to get the CSS float, that we have a feature that was added back in January about floating positions with the position options, where there is floating involved in it using fixed position. I'll link to that, but that one's one that I don't know a whole lot about. And Donald says YouTube wouldn't work well as a background with ads appearing at the end of the video. That's part of the reasoning that I've seen for that, is the way that video copyright works, the way that all of the embeds and everything, the way it would have to be with the ads showing up for loading times and things like that. It was just kind of a nightmare. I did do a tutorial. I think I did. I think it was me years ago on how to do it with Divi and WordPress, but it wasn't specifically using the Divi, like a built-in Divi feature for that. And Breathing Design asks if there are any good tour plugins compatible with Divi. There was one that I've used. Breathing, I'm sorry. Let me see. Tour. I'm looking for the link on that one too. There we go. As far as the tour website, I'm going to paste it into the comments here. Where that's the only one that I've used. I don't know about others because I haven't used them. But the one in the link that I just pasted into the YouTube chat is the WP Flat Tour Builder, and it worked really, really well the last time I used it. But that's the only experience that I have with it. And with any shapes or elements, MSV, that float up and down continuously, like an animation of where it is just moving on the page as an animation, I'm apparently completely not lining up with the way that you're thinking right now. Excuse me. That is one that I would say that the best way to do that is using an SVG for the animation. I'm thinking, again, let me look into the background to do this. The SV Gator, SVG8, it's SV Gator. I will throw in here a couple of links on animating using SVGs and CSS. The last couple of them will show you how to we'll show you how to animate using SVGs and CSS, and a tool, SVGator, to be able that can get you that done. It's a third-party tool to do that. let me say how to do that. The blurb image icon to also include characters. I've seen that one be brought up before. The blurb is like the Swiss Army knife of Divi. It does nearly everything, but it I've wanted to be able to do that. That would be really, really awesome. I'm gonna write that down on my we need to talk about this kind of thing. There was a really cool one that I put in the tutorials of the section today for in the tutorial section for today on using the blurb module to make the elements move in and out on scroll. It was really neat too. See, yeah, MSV says, "Show me your mug." This is my porg mug that my buddy got me for Christmas, and I just decided I needed to fill it up with water today. I was like, "We're quarantined. I'm gonna drink out of a porg." He picked it up while he was at Disney World one time. So I love my porg mug. Um, so that's what I'm, I'm drinking out of today. I thought you were talking about my mug on my face, and I was like, but I'm already here, and I realized that I had actually been drinking out of a mug today instead of my circle bottle. So, um, video, making SVGs of numbers to go in there. Yeah, that. Yeah, I don't have a good a good idea. Like I don't have a good solution other than that. That's probably the most elegant solution that I've seen to it. Um, but uh, but that would be yeah. I'm thinking, just thinking about it because I haven't actually gone in and checked it for a little bit. And I know it would be different based on the design that you're doing, but within the characters and icons that you can choose on the blurb, are there letters like A, B, and C and numerals on there? Because I honestly don't remember. And it's like I said, I know it would be different because they're font icons and things like that to be able to make them do that. But I honestly don't remember if they're there. Just asking because I'm curious because I haven't messed with it enough. I'm usually doing arrows or something when I'm doing it. And then Ayub asks, "You would think, right?" I'm sorry that got me. Um, the Ayub asks, "Hey guys, I have an interview for a front end developer on Skype tomorrow. And what's the any advice that you could give me because I really need that job and I feel super stressed right now." um okay, so this is where I love the community will be able to answer this. I love the answers that we can get from y'all, so throw some stuff toward Ayub. And this is something where I think that the best advice that I've ever been given on job interviews on trying to get one that I'm really nervous about is that make sure that you are yourself. That I know it sounds cliched, I know it sounds cheesy, but they have called you in for that interview based on your skill set. They know what you can do, and they're going to be having asking you technical questions that you will be able to answer because this is what you do. You're going to have the examples, and you're going to do all of that. One of the things that I always tell people to make sure in job interviews is that they let their personality come out, because as important as your skills are, it's also important to know that you're a good fit for the team. And pretty much every corporation and company that I know of in the past few years, the decision for the job that was made, the decision that was made for each job came down not to the skill set that the person had, but the one who they thought would be a better fit long term for their work environment. So I always say, like, don't seem really uptight, don't be like as closed off, and be kind. I don't want to say be awkward, but make sure that you're not acting like somewhat like you wouldn't act at some points during the job itself, like in the office or on Slack or on Skype or whatever, because it can give the wrong perspective on you. And I think that good like personality fits make a lot of difference. And don't say no to them. And if you don't know, I always tend to tell people when I don't know something. Whenever it's come up in interviews, whether that is a good thing or not. I have always been asked if I've been asked a question and I don't know, I just straight up tell them I have no idea. That if I don't know how to do it, I'm like, I've heard about it. I wish that I could answer this question because it might cost me the job, but I don't know how to do that. But a lot of times that means that you'll be able to open it up into something like, hey, I'll be able to look it up. I'm not going to ruin your product by trying to make it do something I don't know how to do. I'm going to take the time and learn how to do it right, that kind of stuff. It is very important for that. That's the kind of stuff that I do. Make sure you get a good night's sleep. The best thing you can do is get a good night's sleep. Make sure, since it's a Skype interview, that you have a stable connection. Make sure that you're set up, and make sure that if you have pets, either lock them out or something like that where they can't get into you, or just have them there, because if they jump up on camera, it's always funny if you know they're going to be going to do that. But again, professional stuff, make sure your pets stay out. Your kids are in another part of the room, another part of the house, something like that. And Video Superhero has a really good point here. 9 out of 10 times, the interviewer is unqualified to perform a real interview. They're just the first filter on personality, so they're looking for yes and buzzwords. Telemarketer calling. And yeah, that's true. A lot of interviewers, depending on how you're doing it, are not involved in that job at all. It might be a committee interview if it's multiple people on there, and a lot of them don't know anything about the job. And they'll give a gut feeling on that person more than anything else. It's a good way to do it, I think, but it's also something that can stress people out a lot. The number one thing, like I said, the number one thing is personality to me. I had, when somebody told me that they have called you back for that job, that you didn't go begging for this interview, that you put in your stuff, you did your work, and they approached you and said, hey, yeah, come in for an interview, that means that they want you, that they think that you are capable and that you will make a good fit. So I think it's just your job to make them realize how great you are. A Video Superhero says, I've coached many friends who are alarmingly unqualified into getting an offer. That is one of the best things that I've seen in like the last 2 weeks. Thank you for that. And a lot of interviewing is being coached and stuff like that. Breathing Design says, wear your biggest smile. People like happy people when you're going into interviews. If you seem scared, it can put them into an odd space and trying to talk to you. So as loose as you can be, do yoga beforehand. Make sure you're stretched out, that you have some water waiting. Because you're on Skype, they know that you're going to be in your own space. So having a mug or something of water where you're like, oh man, I can't answer this question, just it also gives you an opportunity to think, just like people on talk shows, late night talk shows, things like that. MSV says, my doubt, when they ask for how much salary are you expecting, what to say? It's always tricky. There is no good answer to that question. And all of the stuff that I've seen, I've always answered more than I expected to get. I've always answered higher than I expected to get. But you also don't want to lowball yourself. Like, if you think that this job should be paying $85,000, don't say, yeah, I would take 35. Don't shortchange yourself. Don't tell them what you will take. Tell them, how much salary you're expecting. You'd be like, it'd be, I've had offers, or if you have, or, I've been paid this in the past for doing this kind of work. That would be something, like I said, with freelance stuff. I've been paid as little as this or as much as this, so let's work something out. That kind of thing tends to go for interviews as well. Just like, hey, how much would you think? I gave a range the last time I had an interview here, where I was like, I was thinking somewhere in here, and worked out. So Video says, avoid saying anything, which I can't not talk. So that may be a personality thing. Video, that's a great idea. This is why you've coached people through. It depends on the fit, what the work will be, as we get details worked out. It's a good line. This is why I love our community. This is why I love y'all specifically. I just do like that's where that is. If any client offered me hourly, what should be my answer? What do you mean by that? If you can clarify just a little bit, because I think I know what you're asking. But if a client wanted to hire you hourly, what should you say? Yeah, Donald, that's good. I know you have a budget and there's a standard market range, so I'm sure we'll find common ground. Um, give them a range based on similar local jobs that you're seeing in your area, to be fair. Then my friends get XX amount that I'm really every time. Great. That's a really good. I'm gonna use that in the future whenever I have to again, which will hopefully be a very 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 long time. Um, yeah, the range based on similar local jobs, and if it's remote, do it by average within your country, the country that the company is based out of, because that's where they're going to be paying from. At least I think that's the way it would work. And namaste, Mr. Intellectual. See that we've got a lot of people up late in India. That is, it's crazy that you guys stay up so late for the stream. It's what is it, around 2 a.m. In a lot of areas in India right now around it. I know in the past people have gone to bed because it's one of those things. And Breathing Design says ask a lot of questions for interaction. That it is. I am. As y'all can see, I never shut up. I talk all the time. So for me, it is one of those where I'm like, I'm gonna ask questions just because I hate awkward silences. Um, and in Italy, Milan, I do not, Ayub. That is, I know that there should be websites out there that will give you an average developer rate from there. I don't. I know that I've used Glassdoor in the U.S. before. I'm assuming that there is a similar one for Italy and other countries. Maybe Glassdoor even has it based on user responses and things like that. But it does differ on country. But usually it changes. Uh, okay, 1 a.m. 1 a.m. That's not as late as I thought, so that's good. That's still way later than I stay up. Oh, Nancy, that's a very good point. I always forget about that until I get an email about it. The Stack Overflow yearly report. I'm gonna look that up actually because I remember getting an email about it. Seeing what it was, what the results were. I'm going to paste that in for 2019, the developer survey results. Um, that I love reading all of these every year. Like I totally completely forgot about that. But it's great. Like I love it's just good. So there's the link to the one that I read, the annual survey that you can see what people are throwing in their information on. So moving forward just a little bit, I want to get through some of the tutorials at the very least. There are some really good resources too, but it may or may not be that we get down to it given how much we're talking, which is great. But the tutorial section, I've got some really good ones. And the first one is something that I just want to point out. It's from Elegant Themes. It's from our blog on how to work through the anxiety and stay the course. This is a time where I know a lot of people are stressed out. That this is a lot of people are having anxiety, like Ayub, just for different reasons of needing the job and having a job interview. And this is a very simple read through of things that you can do actionably, of things that you can actually do to try to work through some of it. And Haley, the author, says some of the stuff that I've learned over the years going through counseling and dealing with anxiety. And the first one on there is acknowledge how you're feeling right now. And this is just something I want to point out to all of you. This is the main one that the main reason I wanted to point this out is that right now everybody's probably freaking out just a little bit. everybody in the world has something going on and in common right now. Whether your country is locked down, whether you're out of work or you're looking for work, everybody is probably feeling a slight bit of anxiety, and that's okay. Like the first thing to dealing with even a minor attack or minor antsiness like that is understanding that it's okay to feel that way and that there's nothing wrong. Like it is absolutely fine for that feeling to exist, and that it will be temporary, and that you can do something about it. That has helped me so much of just kind of leaning in, being like, okay, right now I feel terrible, and tomorrow I probably won't, or maybe I will, but it's okay if I do. It is something that I think that was the most important part of this article was just letting y'all know, just thinking about the fact that right now, whatever you're feeling for the COVID-19, for jobs, for everything else in your life, whenever you're doing it, when your boss is on you, whatever you're feeling is valid. It's okay, and that you can feel that way, and that there's nothing wrong with it. Read the rest of that article. There's a lot of good stuff in there. So it is a very good article. Then there's a CSS tricks article that I liked underneath that lets you use emoji as favicons, and I just thought it was cool because there is a really, really good chance that I'm going to change a couple of my websites favicons to emojis after when I go in and dig into the websites again. It is just really neat. I thought it was cool, so I put the tutorial in here. Then there's also the 6 tips for marketing vertical video, and I learned a lot reading this article on that. I didn't know that vertical video these days got more interaction than square or horizontal. Blows my mind. I remember before when everybody absolutely hated vertical video and said you didn't know what you were doing, and now because it takes up the entire screen and people are wanting to see it more, that's what is popular. It's strange to me how things change, but there's a lot of ways that you can market with it, and this article talks about it. Then going just a little bit down below that, there's free blurb expanding sections that I mentioned earlier, where you can get an expanding blurb using the scrolling effects and things like that. I've got a lot of comments that I did not even notice. 147 Dev says, any news on when the breakpoints will be added to Divi? And I've not heard. I will see if there's anything on Monday whenever I have my meeting, if we've heard anything else about upcoming features, but right now I have no clue at what point they are in development. Mr. Intellectual says that they're actually staying home is really good. And MSV asked, is there any Discord or Slack group for Divi? And if there are, they're not any official ones. The main official place that we have is the Divi theme users Facebook group. That would be the main place. We have the Meetup network, which has ways of people talking that way. But that is pretty... Right now, I think the focus is on the Facebook group. I actually will make a note on my thing over here to ask Raquel about Slack and Discord, because I actually haven't asked. Well, I know at least Discord, because I know Slack is Slack might be harder because of the premium limits on it, but Discord allows for unlimited people, so that would be the one, probably the one to do. But that's a good idea. I'm gonna check on that because I like Discord. I'm on Discord all the time. Just reading the comments, getting through them. Do you think that the coronavirus will have an effect on the market and industry? Yeah, I do. I don't know what it's going to be, though. I can see it going both ways, and I think it's going to be really interesting to see what it does. And I can't help but have a gut feeling that it's going to make our market kind of boom. And I say that in not a bad way. I say that in as more people learn to work remotely, as more people see the benefit in a distributed workforce, being forced into it. I'm seeing a lot of people who will need web presence. They're going to need more web professionals, and they're going to need expertise like we have to be able to help consult with their company to be able to move into remote work, to be able to get them the tools that they need, and to build the portals and websites that they're going to need for the distributed workforce. I think that it's going to have an end positive for us because of us having to get used to working from home and a lot of people having to stay at home. Not that this is a good thing by any means whatsoever, but I think that our industry might be able to take advantage of it a little bit, if people are not as resistant as they were in the past, because suddenly we've realized that jobs that maybe wanted to be work from home and people said they couldn't, that they actually can. So it's going to be an interesting shift over the next year on what happens. I'm really interested to see what happens, because I thought about that with Divi. Like, how is this going to affect us? How is this going to affect Elegant Themes? And I think that there's going to be a lot more people looking to do what we do soon. So I think it's going to be a good thing for all of us in terms of the industry being able to bounce back once all of this is over. And Uncle Social said they've made a TV that physically rotates to be a vertical aspect ratio for the monsters that watch Instagram TV. Is it a Samsung? Because I'm thinking I remember seeing something about that, like at a CES show when I was seeing it, like where it rotates on the wall mount. That I think and Chris, I'm glad that you found the Facebook group. There are also a lot of other Facebook groups out there too, that if you're a Facebook user, I know I'm a member of dozens of website, WordPress, podcasting, and Divi Facebook groups. There are some really, really good ones out there. One of the most popular is there is intermediate WordPress, I think is what it's called. It's what it used to be called. Advanced and beginner WordPress. Those are very, very good. WP Site Speed Up, I think. There are tons. And there are tons of Divi ones as well. Check them out. They're great communities and wonderful places to get resources. Is there any resource point for Divi that's WooCommerce related, like a custom product page? Abid, that is something that I'm expecting to come in the next WooCommerce update, that we're going to be able to do more of the custom stuff like that. There should be about 17 modules, the last that I was told, for the WooCommerce update. So when version 2 of that comes out, or I guess part 2 of that comes out, that's when I would expect for that to come up. And I don't know if you're asking me, MSV, sorry, which programming languages I know. None really well. I am dangerous with JavaScript and PHP, better with Ruby than some, and then basically I have reading fluency in all of them and can't write anything from scratch. That is where I'm standing. I can do lots of edits and very little from nothing. And will the Divi Carousel module never come in the future? I would not hold your breath on it. While there are good third-party options, and carousels generally getting lower interaction than other modules that we could focus on. And Elise, there are no silly questions. You say you have a silly question. Please ask. There are absolutely none. And if it is, I'm sure that somebody else, even if it is silly, then I'm sure somebody else has a need of an answer for it. And yes, I'm sorry, I cannot pronounce your name. I apologize immediately. But the Josh Hall Facebook group is really good. I'd forgotten about that one. That was one of the first ones that I found whenever I started using Divi. It is a very good group. I think the website is joshhall.co. Josh and his company, his wife, are great folks. They're super nice. If you ever get a chance to meet them at a WordCamp or anything, they're fun to hang out with. And Dave asked, what's a good alternative to a carousel module? I'm going to leave that one to the group for that one. I don't know a good alternative because I don't use them. Revolution Slider is the only one that I've ever used really in depth, other than just using the slider that comes with Divi. Well, okay, Elise, let me see. Will Divi have Astra theme link to important starter sites just like the other theme builders? I don't know what you mean, actually. Could you rephrase that for me? Because I think that my brain read it and then did not parse what you're saying. I'm sorry. And MSV, are there any free third-party plugins for Divi? Yes, there are tons of them out there. I would honestly just say Google it. Ask in some of the Facebook groups that allow that kind of thing, because there are tons of them. There are tons of premium ones as well, but there are tons of free ones just out there. But yeah, there are. And I look forward to when we get the marketplace up on the Elegant Themes website, where they're not going to be free, but we're going to have integrations from other developers that work with Divi and that we have we vetted and everything. It's going to be really cool too. I don't know when that's going to launch. I expect soonish. And I say ish because I don't know. The demos and that we're getting it set up with developers right now. The demos I've seen are really cool. And I know we're working through the beta with different developers of getting set up and making sure that everything runs smoothly before we push it live with y'all. But I'm hoping soon. I see, Elise. Elementor links with Astra theme starter sites where you can have access to all of their sites. I don't think that we will, because Divi being a theme more than a builder, I don't think so, because we have the layout packs on our own. I really doubt that there will be any kind of crossover right there. I know exactly what you mean with the being able to go into the starter sites and grab them. I've not heard of any work on that one. We have a guy, Awa, who works on partnerships, corporate partnerships. I have no clue where anything stands along those lines. It'll be cool. That is a really neat idea, though. But where, whenever I have Astra, I'm like, oh, what do I want to do? And use that. I've used those starter sites too. But yeah, if you with the building layouts, the layout packs that we have, if you load from the builder or go to elegantthemes.com/layouts, and if y'all have not gone there, you definitely need to check it out if you've not looked at the Divi layout packs, as they've been coming out for like the last 2 or 3 years now. We have so many pages. Elegantthemes.com/layouts, or it's within the import layout, pre-made layouts in the builder. They're crazy good. Like, I cannot remember, I honestly, hand up, I cannot remember the last time that I built a page from complete scratch, because there are so many templates out there that I will at least just keep the structure of it and change everything else. Like the layout packs have changed the way that I work on websites. It's insane. The same way that the theme builder does. Like, between those two things, I will absolutely never go back to starting with a blank canvas ever again. Which is the same thing with the Astra layouts. I've done the same thing messing around with those, but the Divi layouts are great. For those of you who haven't taken advantage of those, I highly suggest that. And Elise says, can I display your layout pack on my website as a lifetime member? Absolutely. Those are available for any use that you have that you want. They're GPL licensed. The images are GPL licensed. All of those are, you do whatever you want to do with them. GPL means that it's the same license that WordPress and Divi and all plugins and everything are released under, where all of the things are for what you need to do with them. Like in a portfolio so that my clients can see what I have to offer. Yeah, you can do it however you want. They are white labeled. You can white label them, I guess is the better way to say it. Like they have Divi and elegant themes a lot in the boilerplate copy, but however you would want to do that, feel free. If you any customization or whatever that you do, load them into a website, put your custom spin on it, custom copy, custom animations, whatever you do, and show them what you can do. Absolutely. And if you ever have any pages that you've built and be like, man, I wish I had this picture, all of the images, like I said, are GPL licensed where you can use them in commercial products and projects without any kind of attribution or royalties or anything like that. So it is it's very awesome. Like whenever I found out initially that we were going to be doing this and offering, we hired a photographer a couple of years ago, Joy, who is an absolute joy. She's just delightful. And such a good photographer that when I found out that we had hired her to do this stuff, it's just producing in-house photography for all of you guys, so that when y'all put websites up like that, you don't have to worry about stock images that everybody gets from Unsplash, that you can use those. It is, and those do come out multiple times a week, sometimes at least once a week. You'll always be able to find our new layout packs. So if you check, I want to say it's Thursdays, but I'm probably wrong. If you check the layout, the slash layouts or the layouts in the Divi builder, you should see a new one on Thursdays. I like I like them a lot, seeing what they come up with. I'm happy you're a member of Elegant Themes as well. Hello to Paris. Hello. Is PHP secured, or it belongs to those who are developing and how they're writing the code? What about Ruby? As far as I'm aware, they're open source, but they take community submissions, not submissions, but they have a community board, I guess, to put everything together. And then Ruby is maintained by, I cannot remember his name. It's maintained by a guy whose name is completely escaping me now. And then Nancy asked, was there news on the marketplace? Yes. Well, no. I was talking about that a little bit earlier, that a while back we put out a call for developers to become members of it so that they can work on getting the last I don't want to say last bugs out of it, but the process set up and everything working. It should be soon-ish. While that's going on, I don't know when that actually will happen because I haven't been told. The last time I saw it, it looked really, really awesome, and I can't wait for it. I can't wait for it to see what kind of products go up on there that honestly that I can buy. So that's it's gonna be good stuff when it's here. And so I've only got a couple of minutes left on here to get through a couple more. There just to point them out to you so that you check through the description of this video and see them. There are some about how to move classes online. There are, and charge for them. There are. And that's from WordPress.com that they're talking about it. There's a very interesting one on that I wanted to point out for all of y'all who are dealing with clients and onboarding people. That's simply called "What is a Slug in WordPress?" It's about midway down the tutorial section, because I've made the mistake of just saying, yeah, and you need to change the slug of this page and da-da-da-da-da, and I've had people look and be like, I don't know what a slug is, man. And I'm like, you wouldn't know what a slug is. You haven't been doing this forever. But things like that, where it's just a good, primer for certain things, I thought was neat. And then Nancy says that you're looking to sell child themes. That's awesome. I love Divi child themes. Keep it up. And Daryl's gonna start taking bets on the over/under on how many of the links I get through each week. Eventually, it's going to be none. Eventually, it's just gonna be me answering questions and talking with you guys, and just having the description be whatever I can put in and find from the week. But it is. It is it is true that I get through fewer of them than I ever have. And MSV, how to hide our WordPress version and which themes we're using, because one plugin shows in Chrome what we're using on the site. I'm working on an article right now that can help with that. I'll have it up in a couple of weeks. There are ways to white label WordPress. You can do that. There's a plugin called Branda by WPMU Dev. There are a couple of other white label options. We have an article right now on the Elegant Themes blog on how to do it manually, on how to take all the WordPress stuff off of there. But if you're looking to straight up white label it like that, you'll be able to find that out, and it'll hopefully be a little more in depth once I get this article done and published within a week or two. Sorry if it's off topic, but is that an owl bird you're drinking from something? I'm drinking water, and this is my porg from Star Wars, from The Last Jedi, where my friend went to Disney World and brought it back for me for Christmas. What about more examples of plugins in the GitHub? Looking to build a plugin with different levels, similar to the pricing tables. Do we have, and this is where I'm going to show my ignorance on this subject, do we have examples of that stuff public on the GitHub? Because I actually didn't know that. I don't know. I've not. I will definitely write down so that I can ask about that. So I can say that, but yeah, that's I'll check that out. There might be some if you look in our documentation as well. That was updated last year. I want to say when 3.1 came out. There might be some more in the developer documentation. I haven't read all the way through it because it's not my theme. But not my theme. That's not my area. But it's that would be where my guess is there if there is another one, but I'll ask about that because yeah, that's really cool. I didn't know there were basic ones on there, but I would totally expect it in the developer documentation. Sorry. Which monitor are you using and which games do I play the most? Generally Dragon Quest games right now, Final Fantasy, stuff like that. And I've just got whatever cheap monitors I could find on Newegg that could get me a setup with 4 of them and an affordable, or 3 monitors the laptop. So, yeah, that is not my jam. That is not my jam at all, video. Okay, and the what runs extension in Chrome after you white label. That's a really good idea. I forgot about the what runs and what is this built on stuff. And Elise, what do you mean get the child theme? If you're looking for a Divi child theme, you can actually Google just Divi child themes, and lots of different third-party marketplaces come up. They're great. If you're looking to make a Divi child theme, I know I'd mentioned this last stream. There are plugins for it. I use the Orbisius one, and then Divi.space has a Divi child theme creator that I've seen Nathan use on his live streams. If you're looking for just the default Divi child theme, we don't actually have a child theme that we provide because any child theme would work of just making a child theme. But if you want a Divi specific one, go to Divi.space and you'll be able to make. They have in their menu bar with a Divi child theme creator. And if you're looking for like those to buy, they're just all over the internet. And if Nancy is selling some, she can throw where those are if she's making those. So that is it for me, y'all. I appreciate you coming out. I appreciate you staying in, actually. Y'all be safe. Remember that we do this every Tuesday and Friday. where at 3 p.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday, Jason or Donyetta goes live with a use case scenario, and these use cases are basically the best way I know how to learn Divi. Watching them use Divi as the experts is absolutely mind-blowing. If you have never seen it, I highly suggest that. They're also great at answering questions. Every Friday we do this. We answer questions. We talk about whatever links we can get to, and really try to help each other out. So make sure that you smash that like button and ring the bell. And if you're on Facebook, please make sure that you tell Facebook you want to be notified whenever this page goes live, and you'll get a notification about it, because just following and just subscribing doesn't get you live notifications. But we really appreciate it. We appreciate you and everybody with all of the craziness out there. Please be careful, stay safe, and know that we're thinking about you. Y'all have a fantastic week, fantastic weekend, and I will see you next Friday. Bye, everybody.